Unboxing the Yunzai YZ, kind of got messed up there, 87. If you want to check this exact same keyboard out, there's Amazon links below, but let's get this unboxed. Get a little YZ 87 manual, how to use the keyboard, some extra keycaps for Mac, so if you have a Mac, that's awesome. The keyboard itself looking very sexy. Woo! Yeah, I like this colorway a lot. Let's get this plastic open. The back has some nice little lines here, which look great. Wow, I really dig that. And then on top, you get a nice dust cover. Like, look at, that's genuinely a nice dust cover. And then there's the keyboard itself. I like these lines. It says Yunzai, very, very minimally, which is exactly how I like it. And then a little line, which I'm assuming has some RGB or something. The top of the case has these very, very subtle design elements, which I like, but the colorway looks great. It has that more tan, but the color is all along these keycaps. There is a little bit of stem wobble here, but nothing crazy. And then back here, it's a metal plate. Yunzai's been doing this a lot, which I think looks great. Your USB is in there. You have a Windows Mac switch, and then a USB Type-C, then your wired dongle or the Bluetooth connection. But really like this down here. I think that looks really, really clean. Dual stage risers, again, hell yeah. And you get multiple points of contact for your rubberization. Okay, with that, denseness, a little bit of flex actually. Yeah, definitely a little bit of flex. But before we get to the sound and feel test, let's get the accessories box, which is so cool. I like that. Popping this open, we've got, what are these? I had another keyboard that these would fit in somewhere, and I think that's the same thing. This will be fun to test out. Then we've got a few extra switches. This gives us a good chance to check out these switches. These are branded Yunzai and they are clear on top, kind of a cream white on the bottom and the cream white stem. Definitely lubed. A good bottom out feel. Looks like it's full travel, so 2 millimeters down, 2 millimeters up. Not a super stiff bottom out feel, as expected, but overall pretty smooth. Like pretty much what we've come to expect from keyboards in this class, which is great, which is a really good thing. Okay, so we get this pretty normal. It's literally just a normal rubberized USB Type-C cable, and then we get a purple switch / keycap holder. But let us get to the sound test. The spacebar kind of almost sounds like it's ticking, but that's just the, not the bottom out, but the come back. I don't love the spacebar sound, but you might, and that's okay. All of these feel like they could use a little bit more lube. It might have been that they were greased well, but not lubed super well. But again, I'm being very picky. If you've never used a nice mechanical keyboard, you'll probably really like this. The bottom out feel is good. It's pretty much what you would expect here. Not an insane sound profile, not super loud, not super quiet. It's pretty much right there in the middle. It's nothing incredible. It's just kind of like a good keyboard. It's just a good keyboard. However, let's do this little fun part to spice things up a little bit, give it a little bit more of a personality. You can choose from either like a Japanese looking inspired ocean or clouds or something, or like a circuit board, which I want to do this one. Okay, so to do this, we're going to remove these keycaps and the switches, which we can also see right here, south facing. So I would say, really, this is a keyboard that you might want to mod, and if you're gonna get into modding, might be a really good option if you don't want to do a full kit. But we can see here, we do have a switch dampening pad, and we also do have foam between the plate and the PCB. So honestly, I think that might be a little bit much. I think you need some PE foam rather than just a switch dampening pad. I think it's a little too dampened, honestly, especially for these switches. But again, personal preference. So then we're gonna take this back, then take that and peel that back, and then put these together like that. And then put that sucker in there. Then you turn on the RGB and that actually looks awesome. Yeah, it looks really cool. I like the circuit board, but that adds a little bit of like pizzazz, right? Doesn't it add some pizzazz? I think it does. Also, this line looks really clean. So overall, yeah, I would say keep the keycaps, do a little bit of modding, put some PE foam in here, have fun, especially if it's your first time. This could be a really fun one to do that with. But yeah, with that, let's get to the full review. The Yunzai YZ87, coming in at a price tag of $74.59. But let's talk about the YZ87. Now, even with that almost $75 price tag, you can actually get this very regularly on sale for $65 or around that. So make sure to check the links below for current pricing. All right, but let's talk form factor and build quality. This is a 10 keyless form factor. It has a 2-piece plastic shell with tons of custom indents and grooves throughout. And this comes with 2 custom inserts that replace the print, scroll, and pause keys and give that really cool, fun, custom look with adding a little bit of that RGB element to it. The case does have some flex, but it overall feels really well put together. There is dongle storage, a mode selecting switch, a Windows and Mac switch, as well as a glossy light bar with that Yunzai logo next to it. As for dampening, this has foam between the plate and the PCB, IXPE soundproofing film, foam, and silicone in the case. This is also gasket mounted. It also has a nice poppy sound that I find is not too loud, but just is very satisfying, and I think they really did a good job with the sound here. As for color options, you can either get this in white or black. For switches, these use Yunzai's own milk switches. They are factory lubed and they have a springy feel to them. Like when you bottom these out, they want to pop back up very quickly. I really like them, and I think they have a nice weight to them with that fun poppy sound again. These definitely add to that sound profile. Overall, they are a pretty great budget switch from Yunzai, and this is fully hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches, so if you do want to swap in whatever switch you want, you can do that. All right, but let's talk keycaps and stabilizers. The stabilizers here are plate mounted. They are pre-lubed and tuned from the factory and overall sound really nice. There are some very slight ticks or rattles, but if you're not an enthusiast, you're probably not going to notice these. Overall, they did a very good job. Not quite perfect, but a very good job. The keycaps here are double shot PBT and they are cherry profile, which I do appreciate. They have a much smoother texture to them, but still a little grippy. They have a nice thickness, some printing inconsistencies, yes, but overall pretty good, especially for that price tag. But with that, let's take a listen to the sound test. But to wrap it up with connectivity and RGB, this is wired with a detachable USB Type-C or wireless with Bluetooth or a 2.4 GHz USB dongle if you want to use this for gaming. As for battery size, this has a pretty large battery at 5,000 milliamp hours. RGB is great here. It's south facing, which is a big pro, obviously because it has cherry profile keycaps. It's bright, well diffused, it's got tons of modes, perky lighting, pretty much exactly what you'd expect and want. Again, if you want to check out this exact same product, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. And if you want to check out my main channel with longer form content, you can check that out right here. But this is a consumer tech review high speed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.